I like that. All right, Mark.
Okay, first off, I want to say prayers to the victims of Jacksonville. And this is going to be a little bit of a long spiel, but this is a fourth dimensional chess game that you're right is meant to take our humanity. They do want us to kill each other, and I want to explain all angles of it. To me, possibly a political solution could be the humanity, but they've got us political versus humanity. That's trap one. Then they say, oh, we knew the manifesto in an hour, but not the trends. That puts Republicans against Democrats. So that's trap two. Then what I noticed in algorithms, white algorithms have black people killing white children and things like that. So that's trap three for white people. Then, like you said, the black churches that were burned down. The reason I didn't see that in my algorithm is because I'm not black. So that's trap four, in which they want us to both be terrified and then retaliate, where at the point we do lose our humanity and we justify it. Now black and white people are trauma bonded in this self-perpetuating violent cycle, so then they win. And that's the chess game that they're playing with us, and we all get caught up in it. And the goal is to not lose our humanity. There's the emotional political division, trap one, Democrat versus Republican, trap two, black versus white, trap three, and then black and white on, oh, if it was this person, they wouldn't report that, the media narrative, trap four. And overall, the game is, like you said, humanity versus dehumanizing, that's trap five. So I believe the political solution could be all of it, but also you're right, we can't lose our humanity. Thank you for letting me speak, and God bless you all. Stay safe.
Oh, you killed it. You killed, like, that was really, really good. And the reason that I specifically wanted to have this conversation is.
And not only that, people that actually know Tupac, he started losing his faith towards the end. Some people think he was gaining it back. Nope. There's an interview he did with Sway in the morning. um, Video he did with Sway in the morning, where he pretty much was more confused on his faith. So on Judgment Day, he probably would end up in hell unless he did something that's not in the public eye. So it's not just defending Tupac. It's people on the right. We used to fact check things. We used to say, wait for the context. We used to say facts over feelings. You know what I'm saying? We used to be like like real adults trying to really make sure we have true and real information. Well, maybe I was just under the impression that's what we were supposed to do because that's what everybody said they did. But now it's like whatever the agenda or the narrative is amongst the right, y'all just go with it if it's true or not. And I've seen so many fake narratives over the last 2 years. It is honestly scary. And I honestly think a lot of y'all need to man, y'all are like psychotic almost. Y'all just go with whatever narrative it is. Like with a Tupac narrative, there's so much information on Tupac. Like you just have to be fake. Like if you lie about a situation with so much information that's actually publicly there, like factual information, not conspiracy stuff, factual information, right? If you if you lie about something like that, it's like you're just trying to have an agenda to push. People were saying Tupac was privileged because he went to a private, he went to the School of Arts. He got a scholarship to the School of Arts. Weirdo. He didn't live in no Baltimore. His mother didn't have no money. Tupac didn't have a father. Tupac, if I'm not mistaken, Tupac died without even knowing who his father was. I mean, I don't care if he grew up privileged or not, but I bet you he wish he grew up privileged. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even saying this as though like just a fan Tupac thing. It's just objective reality. His mother was a volunteer for the Black Panther Party. A volunteer. This is not BLM. They weren't getting money from the government. And the thing a lot of people are confused about is Tupac was always a well-spoken individual because back then in Black Panthers, they taught you how to shoot firearms. They taught you how to speak correctly. They taught you how to be intelligent, read books, learn history. That's what Black Panthers used to do with the kids. So Tupac was always well-spoken. There isn't an interview that you can see of Tupac unless he was like angry or something where he isn't well-spoken. So the video when he was 17, he was just more soft because he was probably getting interviewed by somebody from the School of Arts or whatever. Because there's literally y'all can go to the same age frame, and you can literally see Tupac rapping with Jada Pinkett Smith. Like it's just I don't. It's like I'm like I guess it was the tank top, and then people talk about the nose ring. Listen, I think nose rings are sus, but it's popular. I know a lot of dudes with nose rings that I know for a fact ain't gay. You will never see Bryson Gray with a nose ring or any ring. Period. Me personally, I ain't with it. I do think it's what it sus. I don't care if it's Tupac with a nose ring. I don't care who it is. My cousin got a nose ring. And I was like, boy, I don't know what you own. Like, he ain't gay, but you know what I'm saying? If you want to say you don't like nose rings, cool. Understandable, right? But because he was soft spoken and it sounded like not as masculine as you're used to hearing Tupac, like, bro, Elijah Schaefer sounds gay. Like, actually, he sounds gay. Old boy that tweeted the Tupac video today, he sounds super gay. Have y'all heard him talk? What's old boy name? And this might be hating on him or nothing like that, but watch a video of him. I forgot his name, bro. How old is you? Like, so watching people talk about Tupac, I'm like, boy, y'all look crazy. It's like there's every, like I said earlier, every bodyguard Tupac had, every friend Tupac has had countless of interviews. There is not one rumor from an actual source of Tupac being gay. Literally, just doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? So when y'all try to claim that Tupac was a part of the gay Illuminati, Tupac was literally against the Illuminati. Like it's like I don't know what this new. I don't even know what the point of all this lying is on the right wing. I don't know if it's. Never mind. I ain't gonna even go that deep right now. Never mind. I'm gonna let people slide. I ain't gonna even go that deep right now. And, let's keep it basic level. Somebody already got mad at me on this space. Let's keep it basic. Mark, what's up?
Hey, what's up? I'm not mad at you. I actually agree with you a lot. Like, I was a Tupac historian in my 20s. Is what people don't understand. I grew up in like lower middle class suburbs, but then incidents happened, and I grew up in very impoverished areas. Is they have like dance schools and they have like arts creativity. It's a low rent above a like warehouse, and then they have like dance studios because arts and creativity don't cost that much money to do. So there's like painting and there's like reading and there's like theater plays. Like, to get a bunch of kids to do a theater play is a healthy outlet and it doesn't cost money. So Tupac was really like in poverty. Like, I don't get what that argument was. And then the second thing of people saying he was feminine, he was super close with his mom and super close with his sister. So he didn't at that point, because he was still in school, have that many male role models. And like, when you're around female energy, you mimic that. That's why like when Tupac was in his 20s and started, going with Digital Underground and those things, he started to take on more like masculine traits and body language and stuff. I wasn't mad at all. I was helping your case.
Yeah. Also, I think the swag started changing, because even the tank top Tupac had on that video might have seemed gay, but if you look at how people dressed back then, that's really just how people dressed back then. They had the flat tops with the color in there. You know what I'm saying?
But also, he might have just been in the dance studio. Like, that could have just been after it.
No.
The same thing with Prodigy and Mobb Deep. Prodigy put in work in Queens, but he also was, the infamous Jay-Z calling him a ballerina thing. But
yeah. But the reason I said the tank top thing is because even if you look at other, like I said, like if you're a Tupac historian, you know there's so many videos of Tupac when he was in like 17, 18. If you look at all the other videos from that same time frame, he always had the same swag. It was a tank top. But then if you go to just videos back then, period, of people, especially like from certain areas, it was the same. It was the same type of swag. Also, like I said, there's like nobody, no security guard, no ex-friend. There's not been no rumor of Tupac being gay. Like, the gayest thing Tupac ever did was that Versace photo.
yeah, the one where he's just in the bathtub and everything. And he was calling out, Dr. Dre in the industry, the rumors of Dr. Dre and what he used to do. And in his, if you see Machiavelli, the 3-day theory, not the one that was put out, but the bootleg, you can find it on YouTube, Machiavelli 3-day theory. It's actually so much better album because it puts like tracks together. So it's like all the interludes, but the cover was showing Dr. Dre and P. Diddy gay and Biggie as like a pig. So he knew that at some point. And I get my conspiracy mind of thinking like he knew that Illuminati force was coming. That's why he was going at Jay-Z. That's why Biggie was collateral damage in that, but that's why he was going at Diddy and all those people. That's my Illuminati conspiracy mind. But he did, on his original 3-day theory, put out that Dr. Dre and Biggie, not Biggie, but Diddy were doing gay stuff.
Bro, I told somebody this in a news interview. People just, this is why I said conservatives, just please just do a little bit of research. Tupac used to call people gay. He used to expose people for being gay. He exposed Dr. Dre. He exposed Diddy. He used to call people gay. I mean, sometimes he might have just been doing it to be disrespectful, but with the Diddy and Dr. Dre thing, he meant it. You
It
can
was
tell.
because he felt cross. It was at that time in hip hop where being gay was seen as like discredibility, and Dr. Dre like wasn't with him at that point, so he was airing him out. And then the incident with Diddy, he's definitely gonna use that card.
Exactly. Not only that, bro. Tupac Kill Illuminati was literally his thing. Matter of fact, if anybody talked to a lot of his friends and a lot of his people close to him, they said that towards the end of his life, he was like very paranoid and felt like he was gonna die. He
Of
felt
course,
like,
that was,
yeah,
but I hate this because he died, but he made some of the best songs. Death Around the Corner, If I Die Tonight, Hail
yeah.
Mary. Like, I know those word for word, but it's like, I know he was like that skit about like him hanging out with an AK around his door. Like, I know that was probably real just because I
Oh,
know people like that,
oh,
unfortunately.
oh, for real. And then people talk about like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because if you talk to his like friends, they always say like Tupac gay. What? If you like, one of his friends was like Tupac was actually like more known in the circles for being more homophobic. If you want to be real, matter of fact, I think his estate tried to do something with the LGBT community, and his friend came out and said Tupac would not have approved of that. He said
Yeah,
and then the
that's
dude
like,
said he said I don't got nothing against Pac, but he would not be. He said I don't got nothing against gay people, but Tupac would not have approved of that.
yeah, because he was super religious too. Like people don't realize, like beyond his political stuff, how much he referenced God and how much he was talking about like God and God's design and trying to figure out religion. So he was deep in Christianity and that sort of thing.
And that's all I'm saying. People think I'm like just defending Pac for the sake of defending Pac. Listen, no, like it's just, bro. I'm a Christian. I call out sin, bearing false witness. Like I saw one person say it and I let it slide, but then I figured out it was trending, and I'm like, oh, okay, so every conservative is echoing this based on this video from when he was 17. Also, if you just watch the whole video, listen, y'all, that whole video of him, that interview,
He's light years ahead of people. The
bro,
philosophies he's saying are light years ahead of
bro.
people.
I was just about to say the one thing you should take from that interview with Pac is that boy was smart, like more
Yeah.
than smart. That boy was like, listen, bro, this is why people, man, dang, people just miss out
He
on
was
beautiful
a
things.
genius, so they want to take that from him. He was brilliant. He was brilliant. I almost
Bro,
cursed. Sorry.
no, you good, but bro, I'm telling y'all, go look up the. I tell everybody, go look up the full interview from Tupac when he was 17. Screw that little small clip they tried to cut up. That interview has been public forever. Like I've seen that
Watch
interview.
the
Like,
MTV interviews with he did with that white girl. Watch the what was it? There was other ones, just all of them, except there's only one where he's eating a Domino's pizza where he's drunk and he's kind of ignorant. But every other thing, it's just like philosophy upon philosophy upon philosophy. And that was his whole thing was like he said, I can't change the world, but I'm gonna spark the brain that changes the world. I always love that quote.
bro, I'm telling you, like Tupac. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if anything, there's a lot that right wingers would like from Tupac, especially this day and age where we exposing people, exposing the dark rulers of the world, and you know what I'm saying, exposing people for being all this stuff. Like that's something I feel like conservatives and right wingers would like from Tupac. Now,
And that's
Tupac,
what I felt sad about is even in the documentary, the what was it, 2003 Resurrection, he was talking about how he doesn't understand the disconnect between like the thug life thing, the hate you give little infant fucks everyone of just like the don't tread on me. He even said like America is built on thug life. So I don't understand how they can't understand that concept. I really like if he had, I mean, if like he died, so it's like martyred him to where people understand his death now, where I don't think depth, the DEP, sorry, I'm a little tired. That's the word I was saying. But it's almost like had he lived, I feel like he could have gotten his message across clear because he's become like this immortalized thing. People forget he was only 23 when he was saying this. Like everyone's got to think how smart or their awareness when they were 23 years old. That's how old he was.
yep, 23, yep. People don't realize that. This is what I'm saying, man. People like, so I mean, don't get me wrong. Tupac has some socialist type views too that we would clearly disagree with. But I mean, no disrespect, Nick Fuentes and the Grapers, like a lot of them are like national, so they agree with National Socialism. Like I
But
don't
he was
think,
still learning. He was still learning. That I
yeah,
feel like just humanity in general, we have to give each other that leeway of just like learning. Like a 23-year-old is not going to say the 100% right things or know about like capitalism, Christianity, American government, liberal, conservative, because they're 23. Like 30 and 40-year-olds still don't know. You get what I'm saying? So,
but I'm gonna be honest. We can take that 17-year-old Tupac interview. Everybody watched the full thing. Compare that to most conservative influencers today and ask a psychologist or anybody who is the more intelligent person. I bet you most will say Tupac. From that
and
same,
more
yes,
articulate spoken with conviction. That was
yep,
the thing. They analyzed it. They broke down Tupac's flow was so captivating because he almost rapped like a church preacher. Like he was
yep.
going on to this and then that. Like that's how or black church preachers talk.
Yep. Nope. You are 100% correct, bro. That's why, like, it also sucks, like I just said, because this specific interview is actually one of the best Tupac interviews ever because he's 17 and they're like ruining this great interview because nobody's gonna go watch the full thing because that's not the time we live in. And it's like, man, if people went to go watch it, they'll be like, goodness gracious, this kid is brilliant.
It just takes him one day, go down a Tupac rabbit hole, and it's just from every event in his life. You see him, again, like you said, net socialism, like being a little ignorant. You see him start to understand his compassion. Then, unfortunately, he gets shot. He gets a false case. He goes to jail. Then the death row records. Then he kind of still has philosophy, but you can tell it's dimmered and he's more on that war path. But before that, his philosophy game was like, I just wish I could have seen what he became.
Yep. And then people thought he started trying to act gangsta after Juice. Once again, this is just not accurate just with history. Tupac personality was Tupac personality, and every friend of his said this. You like, are you if you're trying to attack Tupac, he's gonna respond as if you're trying to attack him. So after the Juice era, that's when a lot of stuff started happening when Tupac started getting a lot of drama, a lot of court cases, and I mean, he was just more angry during this time. You know
That's
what
that's also what people don't realize is it's like he was, and I've unfortunately had incidents like this when I was a teen, like long, long ago, is it's like I'm a very sensitive, empathic, kind, decent human being, but I was placed in situations where I had to act in a certain way to survive or for money and things like that. So it's almost like what I feel happened to Tupac is I see it happen to a lot of rappers is it's like they almost have to become gangster. Like I'm sure it hurt Tupac's heart to do things, but he still did. He shot off-duty cops. Like you have to
Yep.
have balls to do that. Like that's gangster in a way because they were harming black people. And it's like I mean, you heard him helping out in the LA riots and certain things, but it's like he used it a little bit as like a self-destructive method, but he also like that was his passion. He was trying to get a message across nicely. The world was not having it, so then he came out a little more aggressive. And he was in situation. He got shot 5 times, so of course he's gonna have a little strut about like looking around or holding guns to people who are like messing with him. You know what I mean?
Yep. Also, I find it funny when people see a rapper with a gun and they're trying to be gangster. How is that possible on the right wing space? We support
That
people. We support people having guns.
exactly.
If people knew Tupac history, he knew how to handle a gun because he was taught. Even though we might not like how he was taught, but he was taught by the Black Panthers. They used to teach kids how to hold firearms, how to work firearms. So that should be something that's propped up because when he shot those off-duty police officers, if y'all actually hear the story, they said he got down on one knee,
Yeah,
and it was like a perfect shot. You know what I'm saying? The story is kind of
yeah.
gangster.
I have a joke in my act saying like black people are more Second Amendment than all these right wing flag waving conservatives because they're the ones that will still hold even when it's illegal. Like they don't the registration and everything, the law they just want it on them to protect themselves. So
Yeah, like that's why I'm confused about this one. This whole like Tupac thing. Like I'm with everybody on Diddy because Diddy has been people have been calling out. Once again, I think the problem is conservatives are so disconnected from cultural things, which is why they're late on so many things. Like Diddy has been called gay for so long. And
yeah,
Yeah, it's just like his security guards. People have been calling Tupac gay. I mean, not Tupac, but Diddy gay so many times. It's just now coming out to the surface. You know what I'm saying?
I'm always on the conspiracy path of like, did he try to like buy his masters or something, or was he trying to? Because it's like the same thing with Michael Jackson. Once he tried to like contractually get out of and buy his masters, which they were making $1 billion off of it. That's when all the alleged allegations came out and everything. So I'm wondering if like Diddy was trying to do, because he was really building up the Black Voice, like Revolt TV and all. Even though he was stuck in the industry, he was trying to make these moves. So I'm wondering if it was this righteousness or it just like came out like his crazy freak parties and everything. But I don't know like where my thing is. It's like I haven't, other than the Cassidy case, I don't know where there's like alleged abuse. Like to me it just seems like a bunch of freaks doing like freak things, but it seems like in a weird consensual world. Like it seems like if you're going to an adult party where they're doing stuff I know you're conservative, so I'm trying to hold back words that I say because I've been in those environments.
You
But
good?
going to sex clubs and like swingers clubs and stuff like that, like it seems like that's just the vibe Diddy was on. It is like white parties and stuff where like, you know, white clothes parties where it's like people just hooked up with everyone and there's, you know, straight sex, gay sex orgies and stuff like that. So I feel like him maybe bringing someone into that environment, they would be shocked, and then in a weird way he's like shocked that they're shocked because that's so normal to him. Like imagine being that in the 90s, then in the 2000s, then 2010s. That's 30 years of that kind of lifestyle. And I'm not judging whether it's good or bad. That's his life is his life. But it's like, so it almost because that's the normal for him. Like those type of events are normal to him. So I still like, I'm going to wait till I hear it out of like, what is abuse and what was him just doing some
Yeah,
freak stuff.
I haven't heard. I've never heard like there's about Diddy being like a sex trafficker, but the stuff about the parties, like anybody that
Yeah.
any hip hop historian, nobody's shocked by those things. Like nobody is shocked that Diddy was having gay parties and stuff like that because people been exposing him for that for. I mean, I don't know how. Like, I really don't know how long. So, like, I like really like know the history of like hip hop and stuff for a lot of it. So, like, to me, that's like, yes, he's definitely gay. You know, but
My
Tupac,
only humble
there's nothing.
brag, my only humble brag I can say is I was a rapper, and now I kind of got into it for like comedic purposes and stuff. But it's like my manager had me in like meeting in like an A&R of an A&R, nowhere big, in Bad Boy Records in 2012, and I'll never forget it. It was weird meeting because I didn't know how to pitch myself. And then afterwards, later on, my manager was just like screaming, like this is months later, just screaming like people suck too much dick in this industry. There's too much gay shit. They're sucking dick. They're like, and they were just fucking people getting fucked in the ass and sucking dick. And I literally thought he was just being metaphorical. And then like when you see all these things come out, it's like I think he might have just been being like
Oh,
literal.
bro, listen. Like a lot of this stuff definitely has behind the scenes. And I mean, one misconception that people like, oh, the rappers are actually gay. There's a very, very low percentage of rappers that are gay. It's typically like the label execs, sometimes the producers. It's these like people that people know but not really know. You know what I'm saying? Because in the rap community, I mean, even to this day, you can get like people will stop rocking with you if you gay. You know what I'm saying? Versus like in pop music or
I
you know.
I gotta disagree. It's one of
You
those things
disagree?
that you don't showcase openly, but like in the hood, it's like we know or when I live in the suburbs now, not nice place, but still a nice environment. But in the hood, like we knew the gay ones. But the thing that's different is in hip hop, it wasn't like now it's promoted, whereas it wasn't promoted. It was almost like okay, we're cool with you that you're gay, but like stay in the background and don't let it see that and don't show that surround us.
So here's the thing though.
Fat Joe, the perfect Fat Joe interview of him talking about like, you know, everyone's gay around me. Gay Mafia runs it. Like that.
Yeah,
I
Gay
think that was
Mafia
Black.
runs Gay Mafia runs music, but when people act like Gay Mafia runs rap, no. The same labels that own rap, they own every genre of music.
That's true. Yeah.
That's just reality. But the thing is with rap, it's not accepted still. right? I watched 4 people get canceled. Matter of fact, if you go read like any hip hop blog comment section,
Yeah, if you're not on a mainstream label, like if you're still like in the underground, like Boot Camp Click or part of the Hulu Nation, if you're gay, you're out. You're out of
yeah,
that, you know.
that's what I'm saying. The coach, I'm like the labels might try to push you though, but culturally, people still not with that. Like, you know,
Yeah.
what I'm saying like you will definitely lose some followers with stuff like that for sure.
That's why I felt like obviously the Lil Nas X thing, that is just demonic propaganda. But it's like if he were just this underground, very fringe thing, I don't think a lot of the culture would have a problem with it. They would disagree with it, but it's like we know people like that, you know, or I at least do. Like I know people that have been like that. So it wasn't a cultural thing. Like they've been like that since like 2006 and everything. But it's just yeah, it's them engineering
You're
that
trying to
sort of
push it.
image.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You're trying to push it. Like Little Nas X, I think he actually ruined his career trying to make being gay his brand because like all you really gonna have is pop singers, like pop fans, because rap fans is not rocking with Little Nas X. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
And
And
they're trying to. That's the problem. This is the thing where people don't understand generational. And I sound crazy talking about like 30 years from now, that might be the new wave. You get what I'm saying? Like
possible.
people like when you have 10-year-olds listen to Lil Nas X, and even if they don't agree with it, it becomes the normalcy to them. The year 2030, 2035, it's just like gay debaucherous rappers are just normal at that time. You get what I'm saying? So that's
I hope that's not the norm in 20, 30
I'm
years.
saying, all right, industry. I'm just saying industry.
I mean, it's possible the way they trying to push it because I mean, you can just even things like depression. They're trying to push depression on the black community because I mean, you know, statistically, growing up as a person who grew up in the black community, I never really heard the like people talking about being depressed. That wasn't even a thing.
Yeah.
I never even knew anybody talking about committing suicide. That just wasn't nothing growing up for me. But then you know what I noticed? There's this push for like black men need to talk about their mental health. And that push, and guess what you start seeing now? The depression and suicide rates in the black community are going up. That's how easily I feel like it is like for anything to get pushed in society.
Well, that's how the thing with that is psychiatry, because I study, obviously I have mental issues and I studied psychology and sociology for like 20 years. What I realized is a lot of them, it's like they can tell you what's wrong and what caused it and all the other things, but they can only give you these small like mental tidbits of advice, because if they could cure mental health, then they wouldn't have customers. It's like spiritual, or it's like esoteric, what is it, psychiatric medication, or like cancer healing. It's like if they give you the cure, then they can't keep you. But if they can string you along in therapists and psychiatric medications and things. But the only reason I look at the positive side is it's like the things that do cause shootings are like panic attacks, paranoia, schizophrenia, PTSD, and things like that. Like it's weird because I lean so white, racist on some objects, but I have so much sympathy and empathy and understanding of the black community. Like shootouts, like I just said, that's PTSD attack. Like something happened when they were a kid, or they saw a shooting or something. So then when they have a gun and they're just protecting themselves, that's a snap reaction. They're
I
not in
don't.
the right mental headspace. They're just like reacting uncontrollably. So it's like
So,
if they become aware that they have that PTSD and slowly try to stop it, I think it can lower the violence rates. But the issue is, like I said before, which is that they don't want to like lower they just, it's like they want them to know what's traumatizing them, but then not giving them the cure. So it almost like gives them more of a reason
so
to.
I disagree. I do not think it's PTSD at all with the violence in the black community.
You
And
don't think if people are getting shot at and shoot at each other,
nope,
they develop PTSD?
nope. I've actually, so I mean, not only that I grew up in the black community, but I've actually interviewed. People go look this up. I've interviewed multiple people like from the inner cities of Chicago that were like
Yeah,
well known gang members in the area. Anybody can look up these interviews. They're on YouTube, and
yeah.
I asked them like real questions. The issue is really environment, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's sort of PTSD, but not. I don't feel like it's in the way you say it. It's PTSD in the way that they have watched that friends that had nothing to do with the gang life get killed because of the gang life. So when you're in these neighborhoods, like if you from 63rd and I'm from O Block, if you from 63rd you could possibly get killed. You could not even be a gang member. But the environment there and the atmosphere is people are thirsty to kill somebody from this specific neighborhood. That's why a lot of innocents be dying because they're just from the wrong neighborhood. What that does is that foretells kids you might as well gangbang because you could possibly get killed anyway. You
Yeah,
might as well.
it creates a very fatalistic attitude, and I noticed that like usually around black people or just like in the hood. I say it sounds weird as a white person saying it, but I lived in the hood. I grew up like back and forth and back and forth, Newark, Jersey City, Camden. But it's like they almost have this very fatalistic of I could get shot today. So that's like I know it's cliche and stereotypical, but that's why they buy the rims or they buy the gold chain or they buy the nice suit is they're flossing for the day, the money they have because they don't foresee like a stocks and bonds or a
Nah,
401k
nah,
or
nah,
like
nah.
cutting down payments.
I disagree with that too because Asian cultures do that too. Asian cultures, they love designer clothes, they love flashy stuff, they love designer shoes. Like if you go to Tokyo, you go to China, everybody is rocking
But they
some.
have the money to. It's not like
No,
they're
they don't.
not paying
No,
their rent or electric bill to buy rims.
no, they really don't have the money to either. It's just the
Oh, really?
yeah, I'm telling
All
you, it's
right.
just
I'm apologize if I'm ignorant on that. That was just my perception of it.
no. We just have a conversation of different perspectives, but with the thing, I think what it is just simple. That's what people promote, so everybody wants the flashy things because everybody thinks this is what it means to be cool, and I feel like that just comes down to human nature because you're trying to impress this woman or the woman trying to impress this man,
Yeah.
um, and I think it just comes down to human nature, and if in a specific culture, all the women are attracted to this guy with gold teeth, drug dealer, money, flashy clothes, you know what I'm saying, designer, then that's what you're gonna try to mimic. That's why people buy fake designer. Like, do you know how dumb it
Yeah.
is? Fake designer.
Yeah.
It's not even logical. Just go to Walmart and get you some shirts. But they buy the fake designer because they want to give off that perception, like I got money, I'm this, because they think that's what women want. I think that's just like human nature, um just being like is the right word interpolated in this.
Materialistic, I guess, in just how other people perceive them. Egotism, I guess,
Yeah,
just the
yeah, yeah,
surface based appearance.
yeah, stuff like that. It's very interesting to see, especially when you go to like when you know there's different cultures. And I sort of grew up like I grew up in a black community, but I'm from High Point, North Carolina. So like I have friends from like all types of places, and it's like I have like you have what I guess what we call like the redneck community. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They have their issues, but they don't really care about clothes. It's like you're not about to see them.
Yeah,
What?
they'll wear the same raggedy sweatpants and
Yeah,
overalls and like hat for years.
yeah. You're not about to see them trying to get no designer. You know, it's just like
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, they don't care enough. You know what I'm saying? Which is so it's very interesting when you're exposed to like multiple like different cultures and like what.
Different cultures, and this is my craziness. I'm like the guy writing all kinds of stuff on the like I'm writing what would be a manifesto of something horrible, but it's like all the differences between black and white culture, but all the similarities, and kind of always trying to find these solutions of like, okay, here's the middle ground, and here's where if each of them understood each other, there would be a more positive like racial harmonic thing. But I mean, I'm not going to try to go full way because anytime someone tries to bring peace between races, they get killed easily. So,
I
I
don't
have
I
to
don't
pass it off as me being racist.
I don't think there's any real problems. Only there's any real life racial tensions right now, not on no general scale. I think it may be in 5 years. Because I feel like deep down, some people actually want it to be. So people will lie. People are willing to lie, manipulate, and do
Yeah,
these things to push a narrative. And what it is you got the media, they make black people feel like victims. And they use something that starts with the truth. So they use, the history of what had happened in this country and make current black people feel like they're going to do it now. And that creates the victimhood mentality. But
Yeah,
see,
because I always said is like if you're talking about Black history, why not talk about the scholars or the architectures or the inventors? But they're showing chains and slaves and whips on their back. And like if you show that to a Black kid who's like 5 years old, just his whole life, he's not going to have the most positive outlook on himself, let alone others around him.
well,
So it's
I mean,
creating a destructive mentality.
bro, I went to go see the Emmett Till movie, right?
Hmm.
And when I was watching it, I'm like, if I was even slightly pro-Black, like if I was like I care about where I'm from in my community, but if I was like one of those people that like I'm Black, blackity black, if I was one of those people, this movie would piss me all the way off. Because when you think about it, the Emmett Till thing was not that long ago. Like, like I mean, this was before like I was alive, but it wasn't like that long ago, and it's a real story. But see, this is the thing that creates a victim mentality. But now, a lot of white people, especially white men, specifically right wing white men, now they have the same victim mentality because you got the media who was painting white men as bad and evil. And at first, you had the white right wing man was like, okay, let me try to convince you that I'm not racist. You know, that was the response for like the first couple of years. Then that didn't work. It kept going. So now it pushed, you know, so a lot of right wing men in the corner. Now they're just becoming their best, you know, their best imitation of BLM. And that's what's going on now on the right wings. So that's why I said maybe in 5 years, 10 years, there may be actual racial tensions in real life, like real life.
I even made the joke to Hotep Jesus, like he calls it trauma porn when there's videos of other races. And I
Yep.
was like, yo, if you start putting White Lives Matter shirt out, like you'll make a lot of money in the next 4 years. And I noticed that because I'm white, I notice all of my algorithms, it's fight videos. It's like 5 guys jumping a
Yeah.
a white kid,
Yep.
5 black dudes jumping a white kid. So it's like you have that mentality of fear. So just for sake, because all I'm seeing is videos of black people and then the black crime rates and black people hate. I created an IPN and I made a Twitter account as a black woman. And that's what I saw the opposite stories of
Yep.
white kids or white guys killing black women and getting away with it and things like that. And it's like, what is that except it's traumatizing? Like that's George Floyd was national traumatizing. Whether you say he was guilty or innocent is the forward thing was traumatizing the nation. They put it on TV. They stopped television channels for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, which, you know, rest in peace. But they were doing that to traumatize you to now have this divided narrative of, to me, I believe that they created that because in white culture, that's seen as like fair play, whereas in black culture, that's seen as excessive force. So it's like it was the perfect thing because at that time there was a black person who was committing the law and being in danger, so he was shot by police, and like that was justified. And then there was a black guy who was innocent and let go. So I feel like they picked that perfect one where it's like, you remember that picture in psychology of like the duck and the rabbit? It's like some people look at it and see a duck and some people look at it as a rabbit. I feel like that's what the George Floyd and Derek Chauvin thing was for the white culture and the black culture, is it's like just right on the line of you could interpret it a certain way if you grow up with this like white civilized suburban and black people are violent and that, and then black people kind of like talk it out in the streets, fight it out in the streets, but the law is corrupt and horrible and will harm you and use excessive force. Then you have that incident and they're both looking at the same thing with entirely different perceptions because of entirely different cultural understandings of the other one.
Bro,
And it just creates fear. It just creates hate.
you said something that I wish more right wing people would do. If people made a new Twitter account and immersed themselves in quote unquote black Twitter,
Yeah.
it's so similar to right wing Twitter. It's just
It's parallel. It's traumatized. It makes you feel like a victim. And I get caught up in it. I get caught up in the, all black people do is kill white people. You know, what is it? 6 times on. But the media knows they don't like the thing is, and I'm sure there's a rebuttal for you because you're like in the black culture world, is that they don't report the race of it. So that like it emboldens that white victimhood of like, oh, we get killed more is in quotations because that's the propaganda, but that they won't say whether it's a black killer or not. So it's almost like they feel the culture's against them now. So it's just like I watch these steps of how the people in power are playing 4D chess to make white people and black people kill each other. Like they want just complete extermination, complete hate, and like self-destruction begets self-destruction. Will they burn down their own communities? Will they screw each other over in like Wall Street offices? Will they buy up the housing markets and don't rent to black families? Will all they do is sell drugs and bring crime? Like every narrative that's being promoted. And I thought about it, like the movies in the last 10 to 15 years about race are all about the divisiveness and why black and white people can't get along. But if you remember the movies in the 80s and 90s, it was all about like the joke was like this mismatch, Queen Latifah and Steve Martin, oh, the black culture and the white culture coming together and both making fun of each other's culture, but both learning about each other. That was
Lethal
all the
Weapon.
race movies in the 80s and 90s.
Yep, you had
And
Lethal
2000s.
Weapon. You had Pulp Fiction. You had We Together. You know what's funny though, right? When you say like they don't put the race on the mainstream news. You know what's funny now? Like a mainstream right wing media, they don't put the race the opposite way, but they'll definitely put the race of the criminal as black. And
Yeah, I'm sure they will. Yeah, that
it's
makes
so funny
sense.
because Dom Lecrae, and I don't agree with a lot of his tweets, but Dom Lecrae actually like exposed that with a tweet the other day, and I thought it was like kind of brilliant. I'm like, bro, it's crazy because I have it both ways. But I feel like we went like great conversation, bro. I feel like we went a little bit off topic, but it was so cool to have the conversation. I'm about to bring Carl on.
All right. I just want to say for the people that follow me, I'm a comic and I say like wild fucked up shit, like not to get on Hotep shit, but I believe in this vision of like African black supremacy and European white supremacy that can coexist. So I'm going to say some like if you follow me because like I'm going to say some crazy things that will make you unfollow me, but just know my heart's in the right place. I'm looking for unity and peace and love. And I also just say wild, crazy jokes and stuff. So thank you. God bless you, Bright, for having me on your space and this platform. And I don't know if you remember me. I was at the Grifties and I said, what's up to you?
Oh, snap. I didn't know that. What's up, bro?
Oh, what's going on? So thank you. God bless and have the great rest of the thing.
Yes, sir. You too, bro. Carl, what's up?